The lure of self-driving vehicles is one that we as a society have obsessed about for almost as long as cars have existed. I mean, just take a look at any of the vision of the future style futurism films that have been produced over the last 70 years or so, and some of the predictions are pretty much constant throughout all of them. From homeschooling using computerized teachers through to robotic home assistants and cars that drive the man of the house to his high-powered job in the city and his lady wife to the fashionable shopping districts. It's quite remarkable how frightfully accurate these predictions were. Yes, very much so. Of course, I'm being mildly sarcastic here. While I adore all retrofuturism, probably because I'm a steampunk and a total science fiction nerd, our future hasn't played out quite as some of society had hoped it would. In fact, the only true robot I have in my house is Bob the Roomba, who spends half his time sulking after getting caught under some piece of furniture or tangled up in a power cable. And while my children, now both grown up and left home, did experience a little bit of home learning before graduating high school at the very start of COVID, the instruction took place thanks to Zoom, not a super-intelligent computer tasked with creating customized, enriched lesson plans specifically catering to each child's strengths and weaknesses. The cars that drive you to your destination? That's still out of reach for most people. Sure, plenty of automakers are working on autonomous vehicle tech, and if you buy higher-end models from most any manufacturer today, you're going to get some form of semi-autonomous driver assistance features. Of course, there's also Tesla's full self-driving system, a promised fully autonomous system that will, one day, whisk you from door to door with little to no intervention on your part. It's all part of Tesla's grand vision for the future of electric and autonomous vehicles, where your cars can not only take you to work and home again without asking you to do anything behind the wheel, except maybe enter the destination, but also a future where your car can go off on its own and be a robo-taxi when you don't need it for your own trips, which of course will earn you loads of money in the process. Tesla's Autopilot self-driving, later full self-driving, has been a unique selling point for Tesla for a while. It's one of the reasons people regularly tell us that they got a Tesla in the first place. Thanks to over-the-air software updates and super smart computer technology, Tesla will, many excitedly explain, crush the competition and have a fully autonomous, intelligent, vision-based robotaxi service that won't be easily rivaled by the likes of other firms with their GPS and sensor-based systems. In the years since Tesla first unveiled Autopilot technology, its systems have become more advanced, learning and evolving and becoming frankly truly impressive, and today a select group of Tesla owners with hardware-equipped cars are helping Tesla to finesse FSD as part of a beta test fleet. For those owners, fully autonomous driving is within reach, and while Tesla cautions that you need to keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road at all times while Autopilot is operating in that FSD mode, it's still quite the impressive system. And let's be clear here, while most other automakers are now pushing their own version of semi-autonomous driver assistance systems, Ford's Blue Cruise and General Motors Super Cruise come to mind as just two examples, these systems are usually restricted to operating on roads that have been digitally mapped in super high fidelity. If the road they're travelling on hasn't been mapped, the system won't engage. Tesla's Autopilot and full self-driving functionality, though, well, they'll operate wherever Tesla's high-powered computer vision system can make out a road and appropriate road markings. Just Google online and you'll see examples of Tesla FSD beta working on 8-lane freeways all the way to dirt tracks. It's really impressive. In fact, it's in the uncanny valley of impressiveness where 95% of the time you might not know the car is doing the driving if you couldn't actually see who was behind the wheel. And while there are some flaws in the system, just like there are flaws in other semi-autonomous systems, if Tesla CEO Elon Musk actually gets to flip that switch to activate full self-driving to all Teslas whose owners have purchased it, it will become, overnight, the largest fleet of almost fully autonomous vehicles in the world. Buying full self-driving is right now an option that you can either choose at the point of ordering your Tesla, or assuming your Tesla has the correct hardware to enable FSD, can be purchased after the fact or via a monthly subscription at whatever point you decide to get it. Activating FSD after taking delivery of your car costs more, and Elon Musk has quite pointedly stated multiple times that the cost of FSD will go up, not down, as Tesla rolls out that technology. You'd think then that most Tesla customers would be jumping over themselves to spec their cars with FSD at the point of purchase, but according to Troy Teslike, who has been tracking Tesla customer orders since the end of 2016, current FSD take-up among new Tesla customers is just 11% globally, falling from a high of 46% back in Q2 of 2019. Granted, Troy's sample size doesn't represent the entire Tesla customer base, but today we're going to try and figure out what's going wrong. Why, if Tesla's FSD is so close to launch, at least if we listen to Tesla, are so few people now speccing it in their new cars? I, and Troy, have some answers, and they mostly revolve around affordability. In his post discussing some of the anomalies of FSD orders, Troy highlights the massive spike in early 2019 in full self-driving orders as being down in part to the price change that took place around that time. Essentially, prior to Q2 2019, Tesla charged $5,000 for what it called enhanced autopilot, which included a whole host of features like traffic-aware cruise control, auto steer, navigate on autopilot, auto lane change, auto park, and summon. Customers could then add full self-driving for an additional $3,000 on top, but at that point it didn't really do anything. Then, in April 2019, Tesla did away with enhanced autopilot and included basic autopilot, essentially auto steer and traffic-aware cruise control, for free. Although, I should note, it did try to charge $3,000 extra for functionality of that for a few weeks before making it free. Anyone who wanted navigate on autopilot, auto lane change, auto park, and summon had to fork out for the full self-driving package. It was an additional $6,000. And that did drive the price up for a while because Tesla customers were okay paying an extra $1,000 for the same features. But when Tesla pushed that price up again in August 2019 to $7,000, fewer people wanted to buy in. And as time went on and Tesla pushed back some of its promises for launching FSD, uptake numbers continued to drop. Following this trend, you can see the price increase to $8,000 and then $10,000, causing fewer and fewer people to want to buy FSD. It's for this reason that I think Tesla came up with its subscription-based model. At $199 a month, it feels a lot more affordable for sure. But if you keep hold of your Tesla for the next 5 years, or 60 months or so, you'll pay $1,000 and some more for full self-driving that way than if you'd have just ordered it at the point of purchase. At $10,000, Tesla's full self-driving is far more expensive than either Blue Cruise or Super Cruise, both of which are available from as little as $2,500 on some cars, depending on which vehicle you're looking at. Of course, some would argue those systems are far less capable than Tesla's system promises to be, and right now that would appear to be the case. I should also note, for example, that Ford might offer Blue Cruise free for the first few years of ownership, but like Tesla does plan a subscription model for the future, so tomato, tomato. Over time, the average new price of a Tesla has dropped, and while Tesla has continued to pretty consistently and regularly put up the MSRP of new models, the average new sales price paid for Teslas has dropped as the Model 3 and Model Y have become the brand's more popular models. And herein lies the second hint for the reason for that decline in take-up. When a new car is just launched, you're going to see more high-end models sell. Those buying those models are the early adopters, the folks who generally can afford to drop whatever it takes to be the first in line. In Tesla world, that means a premium model with all of the option boxes, including FSD ticked. So it's no surprise that as models age, fewer people buy high-end variants. And then there is the buyer demographic. As Model 3 and Model Y have increased in sales volume and market share, the people buying today are less likely to be early adopters and are more likely to be regular mainstream car buyers making the switch to electric, or perhaps making the switch from a less premium electric car to a Tesla. They've chosen Tesla for its supercharger network, its reputation, and perhaps maybe the brand recognition. They may have even stretched themselves to buy a Tesla in the first place, and the prospect of adding $10,000 more to get full self-driving is simply beyond their budget or their interests. In the US, you can buy a Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus with rear-wheel drive for just under $40,000. For $10,000 more, you can upgrade to the long-range dual-motor all-wheel drive, which offers 91 miles, 146 kilometers more range, faster acceleration, and frankly better handling. And most people, especially if they're coming to an EV for the first time, will pick range over self-driving for that 10 grand every time. Especially as Tesla's basic autopilot functionality, auto steer, and traffic-aware cruise control comes as standard. So too do all of the active and passive safety features designed to make sure that if there's a semi heading your way in the lane next to you, your Tesla will do its best to avoid being hit. Earlier on, I talked about the difference between early adopters who want all the bells and whistles and more mainstream customers who choose Tesla because it's the most easy electric vehicle to own, at least in terms of charging on road trips. That latter group may also not be as tech-savvy as early adopters. They may not understand or even trust autonomous vehicle technology and probably haven't brought into the entire concept. Remember, many people who have cars today with fancy features like self-parking don't trust and will not use such a system because they either can't understand how they work, don't trust that they will work, or can't figure out how to use them safely. I even know people who won't today even use cruise control because they don't like the idea of handing over control to something they can't see working. To be blunt, asking people to hand over control of their car to a computer is just too much for many consumers, especially in the age of widespread cyber attacks, the dark web, and media coverage of autonomous vehicles going awry. Be it a Tesla Model X crashing into a barrier in San Francisco and killing its occupant, an autonomous Volvo killing a pedestrian in Arizona, or a Toyota robotaxi hitting a Paralympian at the Tokyo Olympics. Negative press can and does play a part. And yes, I know that whenever you get behind the wheel of a modern car of any type, you are ceding control to a whole host of computer systems full of automatic subroutines. But a robot driving for you? Well, that's too much for many people, especially if they're being asked to buy a product that isn't yet available. Like I say, $10,000 is a lot of money, which brings me to something that I've thought about for a long time. Autonomous driving is a premium luxury feature, and right now it is quite a gimmick, especially as it's not even available for the majority of customers. And with some people paying for FSD when they ordered their Teslas years ago, and then upgrading or changing their car and not getting to benefit from it, I can't blame some customers for not wanting to put money down on a system that isn't technically available for them to use yet. Elon Musk has stated that he wants to increase, not decrease, the price of FSD over the coming years. And I can see as a reason to do that, as it helps keep the value of FSD-enabled cars high, avoids depreciation concerns, and other things. But for autonomous driving to be truly adopted en masse, we're going to need to see the price of such systems drop, just like adaptive cruise control and a full complement of airbags have become a standard fit item. So too must systems like FSD. But then there's another problem here. You see, as Winter has reminded me while I was writing this script, there's a whole lot of burned customers in the Tesla community who forked over money for Autopilot or FSD a long time ago, only to never be able to take advantage of it. Worse still, FSD doesn't follow the owner, or the car in fact, depending on how it's sold and purchased. If you buy a used Tesla, FSD won't always carry over from owner to owner. And if you are an FSD customer with an FSD purchased car and you sell it, you're back to the start and have to spend another 10 grand equipping your new car. Something that is particularly galling if you paid a lower price for FSD on your last vehicle. When Tesla has been promising FSD for so very long, it was first discussed more than 5 years ago, and has yet to actually flip the switch for anyone other than beta testers. Even existing Tesla customers are becoming reluctant to invest in the technology. FSD might be impressive, even with its flaws, and yes, I believe Tesla needs to implement stricter driver attentiveness monitoring because FSD, even if its awesome beta version, is not hands-off level 5 autonomous driving yet. But until Tesla can figure out a more concrete timeline and a fairer purchase system, I don't think that uptake will change. But what do you think? Do you have a Tesla? Do you have full self-driving? And if you don't have a full self-driving subscription, why not? That's it for today. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and do consider subscribing to this channel and our other two channels, Transport Evolved Take 2 and Transport Evolved Shorts. I know that while some of you are already subscribed, most of you aren't, so go on, hit the subscribe button and make sure you bash the bell as well. Let us know below what you thought of the video, and if you're not someone who likes the YouTube comment section, then please do consider taking this to our Discord server. It is free, and I'll leave the link below. Thanks on behalf of the entire TE crew go out to the folks on my right for being our $15 to $49 a month Patreons. Special thanks to our $50 a month patrons, David Janakula, Andrew Martin, Greta Drahoa, Brophy Wolf, Tesla in the Gong, Paul Conway, Sean Ueda, Gordon C, Ray Jean Fellows, Anonymous Freak, Jim Burness, Carl Hodgson, Anthony Coates, Laura Sanborn, Rory Litwin, and Denny Hyde. And our deepest gratitude to our $100 a month Patreon supporters, John Lyons, Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, JP Fagerback, Will Graylan, Ellery Hellensley, and Ian. If you'd like to join the ranks of wonderful supporters, you'll find links below to Patreon, Bitcoin, and Ko-fi. And of course, you can buy your very own TE swag at our Redbubble store, just like this t-shirt. Thanks for joining me, and as always, keep evolving!